konnichiwa, guten tag, and welcome to your weekly CMLL recap show. I am El Buntador Segundo. Here with me, as always, is El Mikey. El Jefe, say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait.
Lots of news. Yes, lots of news. And also, this wouldn't be Los Lobos without Papa also say, so like I said, we are...
I'm a theater person,
Huh?
so
Yeah, well,
I'm a
that's why I
theater.
thought...
I'm like, let's do it.
Oh, we are your weekly CMLL Spectacular recap show. So we're going to be recapping the Viernes Spectacular from August 8th, 2025, this past Friday. It was another really solid show, I thought, but let's get right into it. First, in this of one fall, we had the Rudo team of Ola Negra, Espanto Jr., Dark Magic, and Raider, who we haven't seen in a while. I was happy to see them back on Viernes Spectacular, facing off against another Viernes Spectacular person that we haven't seen in a bit, Fuego, with Negro and Rey Cometo. In this first match, we did get Espanto Jr. pinning Rey Cometo. So I'm going to start. My quick bites are so happy to see all 6 of these luchadors on my screen again. We were getting them a lot last year during this time, and then towards the end of the year and then the beginning of this year, we didn't get to see them much. And now we're starting to see them again. So it was really, really great to see them, especially like the Ola Negra, Raider, Espanto Jr., and Dark Magic. Just very entertaining. Dark Magic looked like at the beginning of the match, like he jumped the gun a little bit because he jumped and then everyone else was still like taking off their stuff and turning around like, oh, okay, after that happened, we were just off to the races, and it was just on like ping pong. Negro had a very small slip, but recovered beautifully. It's just an example of how good Negro is as one of the flying luchadors in CMLL. Fun spot that I thought there was a Spanish fly to the outside of the ring that kind of kicked off this whole series of everyone spamming their flying moves and ended with just like bodies. Dare I say the bodies hit the floor. Raider hitting a top rope flipping power slam on Fuego. Raider, he's a big guy, but he moves so well and he works that top rope like no one's business. And Espanto Jr. at the end hitting that reverse Frankensteiner on Rey Cometa for the 1-2-3 pin. Mikey, let's start with you. Thoughts on our opener?
I really enjoyed this opening match. Again, I say this every single week, is the fact that the opening match kind of sets the tone and the energy for how the rest of the show is going to go, and it can make or break certain things. I will agree with you, Del Segundo, that the fact that there's a lot of these folks that we haven't seen in like a couple of months maybe, which is really nice to see. Every time I see Dark Magic, I was just like, he's just like a Pokemon evolving in terms of aesthetic and gimmick and stuff like that. I was just like, last time I saw him, he was wearing the scarf and like the fedora, like to the ring, and now he just out here just like not. It's crazy. Fuego still has my favorite fringe inspired gear.
Oh, his fringe game is on point.
The fringe is on point, as the kids say. I think I like the whole match as a whole. I think my favorite part though is because, again, it's been a while since I've seen Fuego on kind of playing into the comedy aspect a little bit, playing around with his opponent towards the beginning half of the match, which was a lot of fun. And it was like, wrestling is entertaining. I love it so much. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun. And again, same thing, Espiritu Negro. I've missed them on my screen too. I miss Dulce Gardenia with them, but I know Dulce is out here doing other arenas right now. But hopefully we will get to see the 3 of them come back together because I love that trio. But this was a fun match. I enjoyed myself.
Yes. Papa also, our opener. Thoughts?
I thought there was a little bit of focus problems, it felt like, but not a whole lot. I mean, they covered it and they cleaned, it was clean, I thought, but there was a couple of moments where I was kind of like,
Yep.
But it was really neat to see Raider because we haven't seen him in a while. At least I haven't.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, wow,
fair. Yeah.
Where have you been, my man? And I don't think I've ever seen Dark Magic before. I was trying to think if I had seen him before or not.
You might have seen one of his earlier iterations. Like Mikey said, he has gone through some evolutions. So
okay. Oh yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I thought it started off the evening pretty well.
All right. So that was our first match. Coming into our second match, which was cool, where we had on the Rudo side, our favorite, and again, wonderful to see him back on Viernes Spectacular, Cranio with a new intro, I should add. He teamed up with Infarto and Calavera Jr. Primero and Calavera Jr. Segundo, some really hot young talent that we've been enjoying. Faced off against La Fana, Metallico, Stigma, and Shell. In our first pinfall, Infarto, he pins Shell. Second pinfall, Stigma pins Calavera Jr. Segundo, Triunfo Técnico. And our third pinfall, Rey Metallico pins Cranio, and Shell submitted Infarto for the Técnico for the match. Papa, also let's go to you. What'd you think?
This was my melodrama session of the night because it was hilarious that the good guys were in white and the bad guys were in black. I thought that was quite fun.
That was good. Yes.
I was like, okay, that's cool. I love that. But yeah, no, I liked it. It was good. I thought that I'm going to give mad props to Cranio, though. I love the fact that there is no body shame. I'm like, you go, my man, you go. Because that suit was hugging everything.
Yep.
And I was like, I love a good body positive human being. And of course, I love these guys. Ever since I got introduced to them, I just love these guys. They're just fun to watch. And I was just like, wow. And I think out of all 8, I probably watched the 2 of them the most just because, I don't know, there's something about them that just draws my eye. And anytime one of them was in the ring, I was just like on them the whole time. So I don't know. I really liked it, but I was really focused on those guys.
Yeah, no, it's funny you said that because when I was watching the match, I was thinking to myself, these two have that look, that, like, dare I say, stereotypical look that wrestling companies, look for to coin the phrase. And they got great ring acumen and are really agile. So yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Mikey.
I really love that CMLL has kind of just made it a point now, either every other week or every week, that, I thought what was going to be a one-off with the Relevo, so that's become a staple now over the last couple of months for CMLL. Which I love because it gives them more, as a fan, it gives me more opportunity to see more folks every Friday on Spectacular. I have to say, our team of the Calaveras and Infarto and I feel like just from this picture alone, they look like an actual existing unit of people. Like, this is a whole faction, and I love this. I would call them the twins. I don't know if they're really twins, but the Calavera twins, I couldn't keep my eye on off of. If I'm going to be honest, too, I was like, listen, like, this is a whole faction, but these two can be a whole tag team, and we literally have 2 different types of tag team champions in this company right now. So it's just like, if we want to go for tag titles, we can. I also want to shout out, our Technicos as well. They also look like a whole matching unit in the like blue aesthetic as well, which is fantastic. This was just good fun all around. And yes, I am here for body positivity and all that stuff. Also, thick thighs save lives, people.
That's right. And as it's translated in English, Cranio, he's not big, he's just full of love.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I agree with the both of you. I personally was a little bummed to see Cranio get pinned for that last pinfall there. I was sad because when he came out, he started doing so well, And then the Texas Cloverleaf that Shelhua hit on Infarto to submit him, that looked just ruthless. I haven't seen that submission hold used a lot. And to be honest, in recent history, like, this is the first time I remember seeing a Texas Cloverleaf in at least 2 years done to that, like, excellence. So, yep. So we have a Triunfo Técnico in your second match. And moving on, do you like what you see? Do you like the wrestling and like what you see? Then follow us on the social medias. We are the Biconics Wrestling Podcast. We are on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook. You're probably now watching us on the YouTube, the Twitch, or the Kick. You can check out our merch. We got some great merch. I'm actually wearing one of the shirts. It's the BC Wrestle Pod shop.fourthwall.com. We have 3 special lines still going on right now, Jefe?
That we certainly do, of course, outside of our regular merch with all our review teams and looking to add some more. We have our Hot Boys Summer Collection, which is coming to an end at the end of this month. That collection will be going away for the summer as we need to make room for our fall exclusive, limited edition merch. Get your pumpkin spice lattes ready.
No boy, it's getting there. They started putting Halloween decorations in CVS. That's all I'm saying.
This is wild. I was like, y'all. I was like, I want to get the. No, let me. Oh, so I don't know how it works where you are living, but I already have been seeing Christmas stuff. I'm like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
starting
well, yeah,
already.
that too. I
Mariah
saw that at Costco. Yeah.
Mariah Carey is
Yep.
ready to be defrosted in some capacity. I was like,
Yup.
the return.
Speaking of pumpkin spice latte, if you want to buy us a pumpkin spice latte, think about joining our page. Costs a few bucks. We like the coffee. So, and upcoming this week, we still have a very packed week. So on Friday, the 15th of August, we have our TNA review at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific
Oh,
Standard Time.
yep. Go home review as we also do our emergence predictions because emergence is this weekend.
That's right. On Saturday, August 16th, it is GCW versus JCW, the 2-day war night 1 live reaction. That is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you love the independent wrestling and you want to see some craziness, yo, check it out.
Lord help me.
GCW, JCW.
Andrew's
Nuts.
virtually kidnapping me for this, and we're gonna watch it with his bestie Sam. So now we got a new friend to our channel. So this is gonna be fun.
Nice. And then on Sunday, August 17th, we have our review of.
It's okay. I will say it because
you.
I know you are allergic to it. It's okay. I
Thank
love
you.
you. Anyways. So
Thank you.
we will be wrapping things up this weekend at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. We will be doing a WWE review for Raw and Smack. And then we'll be taking a 2-week hiatus because we got lots of watch-alongs planned for the next 2 weekends on Sundays. So that's crazy. Also,
Like the next watch along, which is later that day, the GCW versus JCW, the 2-day war night 2 watch along, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I'm excited.
It's going to be good. But back in the CMLL, our next match was on our Rudo side. We have Valiente, who also had a new intro this week, teaming up with Felino. They faced off against Rey Bucanero, and the first pinfall, Triunfo Técnicos, where the Técnicos, and then the second pinfall actually ended in a full disqualification of the Rudos, because Valiente had a little bit of the roid rage and ripped off Esfinge's mask, which is a big no-no. This match felt like a big setup or hype, I should say, for this 92nd anniversary show, because these 4 luchas are respectively having their big matches. Felino, Rey Bucanero are having their contra cabellera match. That in English, that means they're going hair for hair in that match. And then Esfinte, they're going to be in a 3-way apuestas match where it's going to be Averno and Ultimo Guerrero facing off against and Junior in Barrio. So Mikey, your thoughts on this match, and does it hype you up for what we have coming on the 92nd anniversary show?
So I will say this. I think I enjoyed this, but as soon as I saw this on the card, I already figured, like we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, is like we're getting various iterations. This is more to continue the build to 92nd anniversary, which is going to be in 5 weeks, if I remember my count correctly, which isn't that far off, which is but wild to me. So I still enjoyed the match, but I was like, okay, so this is more so what I like to coin here at BC WrestlePod. I was like, this is just a match to further the feuds. I was still entertained. I really dig the color scheme in Esfinge's mask for this one. I was just like, I'm never not impressed with the mask. And, Papa also sent me a link for eBay. I was like,
yes,
I will actually pay that amount of money to get one of those masks. I've got to wait till next paycheck, but still.
Yeah, definitely. And thank the maker that when he took off Esfinge's mask, he didn't actually rip it off.
Thank goodness, because I'll be like, no.
Every time Esfinge's mask gets just ripped, I just, part of me dies. Because
to tether my soul back into my body. A part of my soul wants to leave. I'm like, get back in there right now. You are not allowed to leave yet.
So, Papa, also to you, your thoughts on this match, and does it hype you up for what we have coming up?
Hold on 1 second, guys.
I'll give a little more detail.
Hey, I've got to step away for just a second.
Sure,
go for it. You're good. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll come back to it if we can. So, again, I figured that this match was going to, it's more so to elevate and to further what we're getting at. Which I'm gonna continue to say this every week. Despite this picture changing for Valiente, I was like, my God, those veins be popping, and I'm like,
he's jacked.
I was like, ooh. I'm like, guys, I want to be Valiente when I grow up and get older. Right? I want like muscles like that. I was just like, great cheese on all those, seriously.
Right? And to fill our beautiful watchers in, so for the 92nd anniversary show, this three-way apuestas match, what is it, you're probably asking? Well, this is the rules for the apuestas match. There are 3 tag teams. Each person on the tag team actually hate each other. They have tons of beef with each other, right? So
This is
they
literally the can they coexist match.
exactly. So for the first part of the apuestas match, they've put these 2 individuals that hate each other together, right? And the whole point is for them, the first team that gets eliminated. So again, the teams are Verno and Ultimo Guerrero. Second team is Esfinge and Valiente. And the third team is Dragon Rojo and Barboca Mario. So the first team to get pinned or submit, they are eliminated. The second team, then if they get pinned or submitted, they get eliminated. So the whole point is to wrestle until the last team standing gets to fight against each other. And then those two, when they fight, it's either going to be cabellera cabellera, hair for hair, or máscara contra máscara, mask for mask, depending on who we get in the final. Papa, also, since you're back, what are we thinking?
I mean, I'm excited. These guys always get me kind of excited for whatever they're going to do, and it's really funny because anytime Esfinge is announced, I get a little excited. Don't know why, I just do. And by the way, the shoulder things tonight were on point.
Yeah, right.
They were great.
And then
This whole
Valiente turned
aesthetic
around
was
and
pretty
used them
cool.
to beat him with it.
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, it was a fun match. It was a good match. I thought, I think it's a match that I kind of knew it already.
Yep.
So which I'm totally fine with because, I love the culture and the style, but I thought this was it was a great match, but it was just a match that I feel like I have seen before, which I'm pretty sure I have.
Sure.
But that doesn't diminish it by any means. And I think all of this is getting me excited for 92. So I'm super thrilled.
So then our next match, which was a match that was actually set up last year, was Rio versus Barbosa. And my good people, I believe I can touch street.
I totally want to be the dude in the yeah. That would have been so amazing. Can you imagine the story he has to tell his buddies?
I went to Viernes Espectacular, bought a beer, and got a Barbosa in my lap.
Fantastic. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I just love Luchador, this, that, the other. They're so controlled. They're so amazing. And then I was like, ooh. You overshot that, my man. It's like, ooh, spoke too soon.
We Benito the barricade.
Poor Benito the barricade. But just hopped up and kept going like a champ. It was, I mean, kudos to Barbosa for that. So in this match, we did get it. So Barbosa overshooting, but still getting up. And then he took another nasty bump when Templario slammed him on the ramp, and he just kept going. It's matches like Bosa is one of those wrestlers that we always see with his faction. We always see him on Galeon Fantasma, with his brothers Andacan Jr. and with Difunto. So I feel like you never really get a chance to see just how good he really is. And I mean, I know I poke fun with that video, but like the rest of the match was just technically beautiful. And also, like, come on, the man like launched himself and did a flip and effectively went like 6 feet into the crowd. So like, that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Papa, also, how did you think your baby daddy ended up doing this match?
Amazingly. Because win or lose or draw, the man is amazing.
Yeah.
He's a winner in my book, no matter what he does. And I thought he was great in this one. I mean, of course, I thought these two were very well matched. I thought they paired these two together pretty well. And because I like both of their sort of brutality. Brutality is the wrong word, but they're sort of brute strength. That's what I meant to say. That brute strength. And they're two differently sized individuals, but they both kind of carry that powerhouse in them. I really liked this pairing. And yeah, even when, with Barbosa launching himself into the audience, it was so good to watch.
Yeah.
Of course, I thought it was great. I loved it. And of course, my man there.
Yes. Yes, he is.
I really like this, and I think to kind of take to what you were saying, Will, a little bit further too. To me, Templario and Barbosa, and using TTRPG terms, their strength is very unrefined, kind of similar to like a brawler type of situation, where they can fly, they can be powerful, but it's very diamond in the rough, unrefined fighting style. Literally, we have a whole pirate in Barbosa, which is like he's literally giving us this a fight, and then again with this more intensity that we've been seeing from him over the last
Yeah.
couple of months, kind of evolve into this. Where I love me a good fisticuffs is the best way I could put this match too. We got our typical lucha libre stuff, but there was a sense of fisticuffs, brawler type of energy in this. And I loved it. It was fantastic. Templario has a kind of both of them have kind of risen up the ranks for me. And again, Templario is always great. So I don't want to talk more about Templario because I would do a disservice to all the things that Will said. But I gotta give flowers to Barbosa too, and the whole entirety of Asma as well, because what has it been like the last 4 or 5 months? They've been kind of getting featured as well, a lot more than we normally have seen them so far. And every time the three of them, whether it's Sandokan Jr. or Difunto, they're always rising up to the challenge, and is fantastic, and I love it. And again, because of this, all three of them are getting different opportunities to spread their wings. And we're going to talk about that in Noticias because 2 out of the 3 of them are going to be very busy in the next couple of months traveling around the world, which has me really excited. But as far as this match goes, I had such a blast watching this one. I was like, this is the nitty gritty, like brawler type of match that I love when it comes to wrestling, especially in CMLL. So I was thoroughly entertained and run it back.
Yeah, I would love to see a part 2 on this one. Definitely, definitely. So this brings us to our semi-final match of the night. Versus Blue Panther MLW for the open weight MLW championship. Spoilers, Ultimo Guerrero retains the MLW belt. But man, wow.
So this was my favorite match of the whole entire, and it wasn't just the match itself that was my favorite. It's what happened afterwards. This was literally, there are very few moments in 2025 that have, I joke all the time where I'm joking. It's just like, it made me cry a little bit and everything. Like, cause wrestling makes me emotional sometimes. I was a mess during this. I was just like, oh my God. I was just like, Blue Panther is my hero. Like, I kid you not. And the fact that this right here is what I live for when it comes to wrestling. It doesn't even need to be whether it's in the States or international brands. It is these moments right here where we drop all pretense, we drop all the kayfabe, whatever you want to call it. And literally, these are 2 legends in their own right. Ultimo Guerrero also is like my new favorite now because this sign of respect means more to me as a professional wrestling fan. And honestly, when I figure out what was my favorite moment of 2025, CMLL and Arena Mexico are probably going to take up a good chunk of those slots, whether it be this moment, Heyman Page cutting a whole promo in Spanish while we had Grand Slam Mexico down here, the respect of Blue Panther putting the belt on Lee Moriarty, symbolizing the passing of the technical wrestling torch from legend to startup at Supercard of Honor this year. The match itself was amazing. I love this. This was great. But this moment right here, this is not hyperbole. This is actual fact. I was a bawling mess by this because it's hit home for me as a wrestling fan. And it's this kind of sportsmanship and camaraderie that I love wrestling so damn much. So,
Papa also.
Now, I was a crying mess by the end of this too. So, and the one of the things about that I love about this, not just this, but all of it in general, is that I don't have to understand the language to understand the context. Like, I don't need to understand what people are saying to know and to understand the absolute respect that was happening in this ring at the end of this match. And how heavy of a match this was. And what I mean by that is like the idea of Guerrero going against Blue. Wow. It'd be like me, going against your hero, sort of thing. And you could feel that in the match, and it was so great. And, and again, giving my props to our older wrestlers, Blue Panther was doing his thing, man. I mean, it wasn't just him like, oh, hey, I'm an older wrestler and I'm going to take it easy. No, they were going.
Yes.
And it was so beautiful. The whole thing from beginning to end. And of course, at the very end, as in the picture that you're showing, when he did that, and he's like, no, 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 no. And he went down on his knees. I was like, oh my God. And I just bawled. I mean, it unleashed. And I was just like, what a beautiful thing that is. And then now I'm going to use that beautiful thing to segue into my soapbox. Why can American wrestling not be like this? I don't understand. There is, believe it or not, most people in the world out there, American wrestling does have a culture, an old culture. It is old, but for some reason, and maybe it's just a good old boy thing. I don't know what it is, but things like this make this as a whole the most beautiful thing and the most manly thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Yep.
This is a moment where I would have been honored to have been sitting in this arena watching this happen. Like, truly.
Yeah.
It really does. And again, I want to put this blanket statement out there. I'm not claiming to be the expert or to know everything, but I just want to give my perspective on this too. And to kind of maybe possibly answer this for you, Papa, also. I feel that as a society here in America, when it comes to this kind of camaraderie, it's very individualistic because, again, without getting too much into it, because we're talking about wrestling, usually American society says that they're about, the individual and the camaraderie of, the brotherhood and sisterhood and all that stuff. But it comes at a very individualistic ideal where it's just like, oh yeah, we could be camaraderie. But at the end of the day, it's every, guy, gal, non-binary pal for themselves. And again, especially when it comes to wrestling, it's very individualistic because we as fans in American companies, we have our favorites, we have our not so favorites. Everything is individualistic because we don't have elder statesmen in wrestling. In American wrestling, once you hit 40, you're pretty much thrown away to the toy box, so to speak, because a lot of the American companies are all about the young up and comers and like the mid 20s and 30s. And then once you get older, the fans respect you, but the wrestlers don't have that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Down here in Arena Mexico, because it is Lucha Libre, which is entangled with the actual like Latin culture in Mexico and like a familia and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's different here because it's interwoven into the culture and the society of Mexico. Even though Mexico is part of North America, Mexican culture and Latin culture in general is very communal. And even though we may not get along with each other from time to time, at the end of the day, it's like the extensive families, the big, respect, especially when it comes to these legends in wrestling. I feel like that's the biggest difference is because Lucha Libre and CMLL is exquisitely tied to the actual culture of Mexico and Mexico City and all that stuff. I don't know what needs to be done for American companies to kind of get on the ball with this, but that's just the observation and take I see, which gives me an idea of potentially creating another video piece in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. Thanks for that.
The funny thing about it, or the sad thing about it, is it wasn't always like back in my day when I was young and we would go to wrestling events. It was this. I mean, you had wrestlers who were in their like 50s, going up into their 60s, still wrestling, showing this big time respect for each other, even though they were or whatever. And then suddenly it wasn't that anymore.
I fear that the biggest problem is, especially here in America, not to mention names because I will refuse to, but I also feel like where we had the territories where you would see these people get up there in age and still be respected within the territories. I think once those territories started to become monopolized and taken from these bigger companies that are now established today and kind of like bleeding dry those cultures of old school wrestling, I feel like have turned, the actual, and I think that's part of it too, because the territories are like CMLL, in my opinion, at least from what I understand. It's because it's this culture of these small companies and these small venues and these small promotions, creating that more intimate communal feel with it. And then once the 70s and 80s hit and we started to monopolize all these territories and these territories began to be acquisitioned into larger and larger corporations and things like that, I feel like that's where that turned into the monopolistic and more entertainment aspect. It was no longer just wrestling sport. It was now wrestling entertainment with the emphasis on entertainment. And it kind of unfortunately was that way into the 90s, into the 2000s, because, in 2025, we have a plethora of options, but 90s and 2000s, and even in the 2010, if you wanted to watch wrestling, the biggest thing that was out there was the Fed, and because they were monopolizing all these territories and everything. And thank God that CMLL has been around long enough to still be the longest wrestling company and is hopefully not going to allow anybody to come and try to change into their way of things. So I think that's the sucky part, is because, again, the monopolization and the disappearance of actual territories. That's why independent wrestling, indie promotions are super important, because that's the only way we could still get that. But yeah, the old school way of that is so much disappeared. And it's kind of sad, because I would have loved to experience what the territories are like in this modern age. So
Yeah.
it makes me sad.
To y'all's point, every time Blue Panther stood up, you had 62,000 plus in Arena Mexico going nuts. To give our beautiful watchers just a little bit of history here, Blue Panther and Ultimo Guerrero actually trained in the same wrestling school. Blue Panther started in 1978. That is 47 years ago. Ultimo Guerrero started in 1990. So quite literally, Blue Panther was a teacher to Ultimo Guerrero. So when they had this match, this opportunity, this showing of affection and respect, I was a mess too. So beautiful match, beautiful moment. Probably going to be one of my, if not my top moment for 2025. Put gold on Blue Panther. I'll leave it
I
at that.
swear, it's
Leave it at
like
that.
the fact that Blue Panther is over in Mexico and in the States, like, we need to do
Yeah.
something about that.
Yep. 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 So this does bring us to our main event for the night, which was those the 2 out of 3 pinfalls. On our Rudo team, we saw the Capitan Oro and Thor, our favorite zombie lucha, versus Capitan Místico, Máscara, and Atlantis Jr. The first pinfall went to the Rudos Difunto, pinning Místico with some great teamwork by the rest of the Rudo team. Second pinfall went to the Técnicos, where Místico submitted Hechicero and our third pinfall went to the Técnicos. Mascarada pins Difunto, and Atlantis Jr. submits Angel de Oro, which with a crazy torture rack for a Truyo Técnico. Papa Oso, how'd you feel?
We can both go at the same time. We'll just tag team this.
Almost give me the 1 minute. So
That's okay. I'll say my piece and I'll throw it over to Papa Oso at this one.
Sure.
I did enjoy this match. I really, really did. It was solid. I don't think it was
Yes.
bad. It was better than solid. It was so great. I loved it. I think because of the emotional impact of what happened previously, this unfortunately fell short in terms of being my match of the night. But again, give Difunto all the stuff, because I love him and he's great. I love this.
Yes.
This whole match was great. I really, really love it. And again, all of these guys are very busy over the next couple of weeks too. So it was just a solid, and I think this was a proper main event for Viernes Espectacular. I still had a great time. But yeah, what happened before, it took me a couple of minutes to get myself together and compose myself to actually give these 6 my time, because they deserve it. But yeah, I had a great time with this one. This was solid. And this was a really fun match. But yeah, what happened previously kind of blew everything out of the water. So it was really tough for me to, I was like, damn it.
Yeah. The entire show was solid. Yes, I agree. This was a great final match. Dare I say, to quote our primo, Agent Lo-Fi, this was the stereotypical go home feel good match of the night. Do you think that the show would have been a better show had they flip-flopped the semi-main event and the main event on this?
That's a tough part, because I think because you have Místico and Hechicero, who are kind of like 2 faces of the same coin, just on different sides.
Right.
And I feel that no. I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, like, now that with the whole entire show said and done, and like we're reviewing it a couple days later, if I were booking the show, and who's to say if that between Blue Panther and Ultimo Guerrero at the end was planned, or if it was just a spur of the moment, like, who knows? But looking back on it, and we'll assume that that was planned, I actually would have swapped it. I would have had the MLW Championship match main event, And then you can, like, from I don't want to call it a TV show perspective because we're watching on YouTube, but you know what I mean. Like, you
Production,
want to send
yeah, production, yeah.
from a protection standpoint, you want to send the crowd. Like, I mean, this was a fun match to send the crowd home happy with everything. But if you want to hit those emotional chords and like leave a lasting impact, as most people want to in any form of entertainment, I think swapping this with the Ultimo and the Blue Panther match probably would have been a better flow. This was still solid, but I think if we switched it around, I think I would go to say is like I think this is probably my favorite CMLL episode this whole entire year. Still is, but like yeah. So I think the swapping of the order would have been a better flow.
Nice, nice. Papa also, your thoughts? And do you think flippy flop?
Yep. And when I was watching this, I was like, oh, this is good, but this was not like in the night material.
You're right.
I
Okay.
mean, this was sort of like we see this all the time. We see these six
that's good.
guys, this sort of idea, it's Mystico and Hechicero going against each other. I mean, we see this all the time. And so this match felt to me like a typical CMLL night match, and which is nothing wrong with that, because it was a great match. But I agree. I think the Blue Panther and Ultimo Guerrero match should have been here.
Uh-huh.
They should have ended the night with that. That's such a beautiful moment. And I felt like it was kind of just shuffled into the deck. And so I would have put it here and put this one in that place for sure. Again, that doesn't diminish this one because this was still good because Hechicero trying to kill people and Mystico trying to be the savior of everything and just great. They're great. That's when they fight, but I don't think that I didn't feel that it was like end of night material.
Fair.
Like I just didn't.
Nope.
I mean, it was great.
Nope.
Loved it. Loved everything they were doing, but I was just like, we just had this amazing match between two greats, and we have all of the feels happening. We're caught in our feels, and then we're kind of given like a bland Jello cube. We like it.
Right?
It wasn't quite what I was wanting. It's
Right.
like, oh yeah, it's like lime Jello. Oh, okay, it's great. I love lime Jello, but it was great, and I love green Jello, but I would have preferred the parfait at the end.
Right. Fair. Yep. Yep. So that was our show for August 8th. Again, a very solid show. If you have the opportunity, definitely go CMLL. You can find CMLL on YouTube, and I believe they'll be posting it like in a week or so. But this Friday, Viernes Espectacular, what are we going to be getting? It looks like it's another very solid card. So we're going to be starting off with Fury Boy versus, then our next match is where La Catalina and Las Chicas Indonables, Lluvia and La Jarochita will be facing off against Reina Isis and Hera, hyping up that 92nd anniversary title belt match that we got coming up. Then we have, this is going to be crazy, Cybernetico 92nd Sahario. So we're going to have Ultimo Guerrero versus Averno versus Barbaro Cabrera versus Dragon Rojo Jr. versus El Valiente versus Rey Bucanero versus El Falino. All of them in a Cybernetico, meaning that people just keep feeding into the meat grinder. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. In we have Indio facing off against Anos Chavez. We have Mystico and Hologram coming south again to Mexico versus the Beast Mortos and Difunto. What better supernatural team than Beast Mortos and Difunto? Love it. I'm much excited. And in our main event, that's right, y'all. Not the F. Maxwell Jacob Freeman. I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. Will be facing off against Zandokan Jr. to defend, I can't believe I'm saying this again, to defend MJF's championship, world championship.
It's crazy.
CMLL belt. That's going to be a great match. I'm excited, and I joke. I think I'm liking this storyline with MJF. I'm very interested to see what's going on. I'm interested to see if our thoughts on the end game is going to be what it is. But that's for later. Now is now. So, and now I'm going to toss it over to El Jefe for Las Noticias.
Thank you. And here's Cosmo with the weather. I thought you said feather. Anywho, so I'm here to give them, which has me super excited. So I kept it shorter for this time because I didn't want to repeat ourselves. We got a couple of more information about certain things, which I'm going to get into, but let me go over the stuff I actually have slides for. So first and foremost, this past weekend, we had our MLW show, Blood and Thunder. which was really fun to watch. I had a great time. Of course, we saw the MLW debut of Miss Shotzi Blackheart, who is amazing as well. But I want to talk about the matches that involved our CMLL talent because, those were also a lot of fun. We opened with a 6-person scramble for Blood and Thunder, which included our own CMLL's Okumura, who had some really fresh gear. We also learned that him and Satoshi Kojima had made up over New York bagels, which was a lot of fun to watch in that little backstage segment. And you know what? This was a fun 6-man scramble. I was really happy to see Okumura look like he had an extra pep in his step, which was really fun to watch. Ultimately, the person in the middle, Mads Kruger, would end up, winning the whole 6-man scramble, but it was a great time. Also, I want Matthew Justice to come to CMLL because for some reason I want him to fight all the luchadors too. Matthew Justice is amazing. We love him. What am I probably like my favorite 2 matches of the whole entire night included this lightning match, which is essentially the Americanized version of a Relampago match we get in CMLL. But this was a lot of fun. This was part 2 of Paul London versus Neon, which was a lot of fun. I think the only downside, and we talked about it with our primo, Agent Lo-Fi, is because of how small that MLW ring is in terms of where the ring is at and where the barricades and Jerry the barricade is. The venue all itself also wouldn't really allow Neon to really fly the way that he normally can, but it was still entertaining. It ended up going to the full 10-minute time limit, so we had a draw for the second time these two have fought each other. So I'm like, give me a third one, you cowards.
Give us a 3. Give us a 3.
We need a definitive winner because they've gone to the time limit both times. And let the third one be in Mexico, in Arena Mexico, because we fought the first one in Arena Mexico. The second one was in stateside. Let's do the third one back in Arena Mexico so Neon can fly. And also Paul London can fly too. I wanted to see him fly using the space that is in Arena Mexico because that man can fly as well. But by default, because I knew on paper it was going to be a lot of fun, my favorite match of the whole entire episode was our main event, which was the Right Choice. This was an Opera Cup opening round match between the Hunter himself, Ikuru Kwan, taking on Mystico in this match. This was so much fun. And I was just like, yes, this is how I wanted to see this match. I have no complaints about it. The only thing I am requesting MLW and CMLL is run this back. Give me a best of 5. Like, I could see Juan and Mystico go at it all the time. I just want to see Ikuru Kwan fight the luchadors here in CMLL because he works so well. This isn't the first time that him and Mystico have locked up. While his appearance in the last Grand Prix was very short-lived, he looked really good within the time that he was given last year at the Grand Prix. So I'm excited about that. Speaking of which, Grand Prix is in like 2.5 weeks, which I'm excited. Well, actually in 3 weeks, but I'm really excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait. But we move on. Again, like I stated last week, as I learned that morning, we are getting Global Wars UK. Rev Pro is dropping this back again, where we are going to get New Japan, CMLL, and Ring of Honor stars. We have yet to hear about any of the CMLL talent. We got one match announced. We got Rev Pro's Joshua Hayes taking on the Stone Pitbull of New Japan and Tomohiro Ishii. So that's going to be a lot of fun, but waiting to see what CMLL talent is going to be involved in Global Wars UK. Also, just as a reminder that Death Before Dishonor for Ring of Honor is happening Friday, August 29th, where we are about to get this banger right here, Bandito versus Hechicero for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This match is going to feed the children, you guys. Like, I am expecting El Generico to come out of retirement to watch this match. I'm so excited for this. If this was anything like Bandito and Takeshita, I am so ready. And Hechicero out here completing side quests. Like, I'm so excited. Speaking of side quests, we got an update. So I'm not going to go over all the CMLL talent who's going to be in Fightland because there's a lot. But maybe this will possibly help us push Will to possibly letting us help him get these tickets to Fightland if they are still available. Because we are getting an MLW World Middleweight title fight. And it is once again the Luchador Hunter is laid out here, you guys. I'm sorry. It is Ikuru Kwan versus Templario. Somebody is walking out as champion, and I am so excited. I cannot wait. The fight match shaping up to be a lot of fun. We are getting Dijak and Matt Riddle round 3. We're also getting Alex Hammerstone and Matthew Justice in a Texas death match, which is going to be crazy. Cannot wait. But I'm really excited about this. I'm rooting for Templario to win this. So he, again, completing side quests, just winning championships and other promotions. He is literally already one half of the New Japan Strong Tag Team Champs. Let's just give him another title just because Templario is awesome like that. So I'm excited. Fightland will be taking place Saturday, September 13th in North Richland Hills, Texas. So that's going to be fun. Fantastica Mania UK is happening in October, kids. So as already announced, we know that Hechicero, Mystico, and Zandokan Jr. will be participating. As of this week, we got 2 more names added to this list, which, includes S is about to be heading to the UK, as well as Mascara Dorada. So I was just like, I love that everybody is getting all this stuff. And I cannot wait, even though it's far away. That us 3 are going to be reviewing Fantastica Mania UK, and we are also going to grab Andrew with as our Rev Pro UK correspondent now. So I am excited to include the 4 of us in all of this. So it's going to be fun. So that's all the stuff I had for the slides, but he just dropped some information for us. So I find it funny that we were talking about before the show started, because Forbidden Door for AEW is happening in 2 weeks, and one of the matches is a 4-way international fatal 4-way for the TBS championship, where Mercedes Moné, the current champion, would be defending her TBS championship against a AEW representative versus a Stardom representative versus a CMLL representative. So with 2 weeks left, we were talking about how CMLL and Stardom were going to pick their representatives, because last week Alex Windsor won her Fatal 4-Way qualifier and will be representing AEW in the UK. Informa let us know that they're not going to do qualifiers because the baddest bitch in the game just announced herself, which is the right choice for me. So we can now say for confidence, it is Mercedes Moné defending the TBS championship against AEW's Alex Windsor, but she will also have to contend with defending it against CMLL's La Sal herself. Miss has announced herself for the match. So Persephone is going to the UK, and she is going to be competing for the TBS champion. Girl is about to have a fun couple of weeks because she's going there to participate in that, and she also has her tag team championship match for in September, which is gonna be fantastic. Oh, I'm excited. But that is my noticias for the week. I'm going to throw it back over to El Segundo to kind of wrap us up a little bit. So take it away, Chuck.
All right. I don't know who Chuck is, but, I'm El Segundo. And that was our show for this week. If y'all liked us and you want to see more, tune in next week, where we will be here, same bat time, same bat channel. So for El Jefe, for Papa Awesome, for the rest of the BC Wrestle Pod crew, let me just end by saying, don't forget that I'm Biconic, you're Biconic, we are all Biconic. You get to finish your own story. Don't forget that. So, gents,
let's get out of here. Johnny TV style. That's it! Right in the shot, you bold idiot! You fool! The other way, go!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.